Well, I didn't take much notice of what I read in the local paper, but I belong to Blackburn Lake Sanctuary Advisory Committee. I've been a volunteer there since 1988, and we're at one of our monthly meetings, and Andy walked in, who'd apparently done it before, and he had a flyer with him. He said, "I'm going to do it," and I said, "Oh, all right, I'll do it too." So I went home and filled in the form, whatever it was, and posted it off, had the meetings. And I thought, well, I'll be 86 when that happens, and I've got a lot to talk about. So I put down a number of things which I thought might interest people. And the first one was my early childhood on the soldier settlement block. A lot of people were interested in that, and some of them had relatives who'd been soldier settlers or uncles or aunts, or not aunts, uncles, you know. And I also put down growing up in Melbourne during the war. There was rationing and the Americans taking over, all that sort of thing, going to school there. Then we built a kindergarten when I got married. Our community actually raised the funds and built a kindergarten. Some people were interested in that because in those days, if you needed something, you got together and you lobbied and you did all the things you needed and combined all your skills and got on with it. And I trained at the Alfred Hospital, so I nursed for about 40 years in between having a family and all that sort of thing. And then I bushwalked, and I've been a volunteer for a number of organisations, like the Alfred Hospital Nurses League. I still work there one day a week in the archives since 1993. I also belong to Amnesty International, which is very important to me. So I had quite a bit to talk about. But what I found they were mostly interested in, some of them were interested in how we got kindergarten started, because nowadays I don't know if that would happen. Oh, perhaps it does. But most of them were interested in my early life on a soldier settlement block. A lot of them wanted to know what that was like. Well, I said to them, "What would you like to talk about?" And most of them said, "I'm interested in what your life was like when you were young, you know, when you were on a farm." Some of them, were, as I said, were interested in things like getting a kindergarten underway, but those seemed to be the two main things they were interested in. One lady was interested in some of my bushwalking experiences, I recall. And there were three ladies who came together and sat around in a chatty group and told me all about, because they like to talk too. And that was one of the things I noticed, that they just didn't want you to talk. They also had things they wanted to say to you. And some of them weren't relevant to whatever I was talking about. That didn't matter. The fact that they wanted to talk about it, we talked about it. Yeah. I think it's my varied life experience, and the fact that I like to talk to people. And I like people to talk to me, yeah. Oh yes, I enjoyed it so much. It was just a really enjoyable experience the whole day. In fact, the last lady who came along, everybody had gone to lunch, and I said, "Never mind lunch, let's sit down and talk," which we did. Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it.